All right, now we're going to introduce you to Leanne Cohens, who's going to talk about perception, the 5th P in marketing.
Just when you thought you didn't get it right.
All right. Okay, good morning, everyone. Today's talk is perception, the 5th P in marketing. I'm Leanne Cohens. I am the Digital Success Catalyst and owner of a marketing agency called Marketing Me. And what I do is actually help business owners and entrepreneurs lose the marketing overwhelm. So today we're going to talk about perception when it comes to your branding and when it comes to marketing your business online. Because when it comes to how people see your business, your brand and your business is not what you say it is. It's what your customer tells everybody else it is. So making sure that even though you can't, when it comes to perception, you cannot control how other people see you or other people's ideas about you, you do, as a business owner and an entrepreneur, have the ability to control how you show up. And you do that in a couple of ways. So one of the first things is having consistency across every single digital touch point that you have online. Making sure that when somebody goes to your Facebook page, it aligns with your website. It aligns with your Instagram. It aligns with your LinkedIn page. And that's one of the things when it comes to marketing online now. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where your ideal client is. But you have to make sure that when your ideal client is looking for you, you stand out and they can find you. So with branding, one of the things that we do in my agency is before we do anything for a client, we always make sure that we have a branding and a messaging document. So a lot of printers like to have a brand style guide. A lot of graphic designers have a brand style guide. We take it a step further because as business owners, when you're creating and you're wanting to put something out online, you need to make sure that that's what you're focusing on. You don't need to be worrying about whether you've got the right font or the right color or whether your message has changed slightly. So one of the things that I do recommend as a business and as an entrepreneur is if you have a Canva account, if you don't know what Canva is, just message below, I'll send you a link. I've got a little training book on that. But go into Canva and make sure that you have your brand colors set up. You have your fonts set up. Now, never any more than 3 fonts and never any more than 3 colors because it becomes overwhelming. And there's a whole psychology behind colors and what different fonts mean, but you have to pick what resonates with you. But then make sure that it is consistent every single time that you show up online. So making sure that you have your 3 brand colors there. So every time you go in, you know exactly what you're doing when it comes to how you're showing up. From there, then making sure that you have consistent calls to action. Now they're generally key phrases that you use. And I have 2 that I use in my business, which is lose the marketing overwhelm, because that's one of the biggest things when it comes to showing up online for business owners and entrepreneurs. You're in this business because you have a passion for what you do and you love what you do and that's all you want to do. Unfortunately, you do need to learn a little bit about marketing and about the online space. So one of my key phrases is to lose the marketing overwhelm. And that's what I teach business owners how to do. The second one is restart, recharge, and revive your marketing, which is more towards my agency. But when we start creating content to put out online, I know that every time something goes out, it's going to be in my 3 core colors. It's going to be using the same 3 fonts every single time. And one of those 2 messages is going to be part of that content when it goes out, because there's that consistency. And people have to see and hear you. With everything being online now and with social media, people have to see and hear you 22 times before they start recognizing who you are. It used to be 7 touch points on the purchase pathway. Now it's 22 because we have social media and we have so much else that's going on. So people have to be able to instantly recognize you. Not only that, you have 8 seconds before people can actually start. From the time that people actually see you online, you have 8 seconds for them to decide whether they're going to keep following you, whether they're going to keep listening, and how they're going to keep interacting with you. So again, making sure that you've got that eye-catching messaging. And when they do see you, you do have that consistency. So then the next thing, when it comes to your messaging, you have to make sure when it comes to your messaging that you are telling your clients what you do for them and how you make their life better. Because it's not about you. People love a story and people love to hear where you come from and what your background is. But at the end of the day, people are only going to work for you or work with you if they think that you are going to make their life better in some way. So when it comes to your messaging, making sure that you are so crystal clear on how you serve them. If you work with me and I'm doing your social media, I can guarantee you that your audience will increase. You will get more leads and you will get more people coming to work with you. So for someone that's in the spiritual space, it would be, if you work with me, I'm going to help you have more peace in your life. You know, in the case of Christine, I'm going to help you alkalize your body so that it can do what it's supposed to do and heal itself. So you don't have to worry about cancer. So you don't have to worry about all these other illnesses that come along. Christine's story is lovely. It's fantastic. It's inspiring. But people are only going to work with Christine because of the results that they get. So whenever you're showing up online, you have to make sure that your messaging is crystal clear on how you actually make your life better. And then the final thing, once you've got your branding correct, once you've got, and it's on point, once you've got your message down pat, is actually showing up. So that you're not the world's best kept secret. And again, we're being bombarded every single day with marketing messages, constantly, whether it's on our phones, on our laptop, whatever we're doing, we're constantly being bombarded with marketing messages. And if you're not showing up and people aren't consistently seeing you 22 times, they're not going to recognize who you are. And the other thing is that you can't build a relationship with someone. And even the most ironic thing is that the more we are online, the more we want that relationship and we want that connection. So showing up on video and making sure that people can see you, people can hear you, people get an understanding of who you are and what you're about is so important, because then you're able to start building that relationship. So one of the things that I'd like you all to do today is to go and have a look at every single area that you show up online, whether it's your website, Facebook, Instagram, or any of the other places when it comes to the digital space. And make sure that you have those same colors, those same backgrounds, the same images, the same fonts, and the same message that is crystal clear on how you make people's lives better. So once you do that, it makes it so much easier for people to recognize who you are. Because if they don't know who you are and what you do, they're certainly not going to want to work with you. So when it comes to perception, you can't control how other people see you. You can't control what their idea of you is. But what you can control is how you show up consistently, how you show up with the same branding and the same messaging every single time. And that's that constant reminder. One of the things that when I was doing my degree a few years ago was they talked about a subset of brands. And one of the things that came up was, if I said the word toothpaste, you would all automatically, within a split second, have a brand that comes to mind. Now that brand has become part of your life because it's just been there continually. It's the same message all the time. And that's your job as a business owner. You've got these incredible skills for you to transfer. You can make such a difference in the world. But if people can't recognize you and they don't know what you do, they're not going to sign up to work with you. So making sure that you have that consistency, making sure that you're able to manage that perception with the things that are in your control, from your branding and your messaging and showing up regularly, is so important. Even the little things down to every time I show up online, I wear red because that's my branding color. It's the same with Trish. You're going to hear Trish speak a little bit later today. You know, Trish is always purple. And you might hear her talk once, and then you might start scrolling through your feed one day, and all of a sudden you notice purple. Oh, that looks familiar. You might do it a second time and a third time. But the next time that you're in need of Trisha's services, she's going to stand out because she's consistently showing up. She's consistently showing up in the same colours with the same message every single time. And that is all your job is as a business owner and an entrepreneur. Like I said, you can't control what people actually think of you, but you can control the perception based on how you show up in the world and how you show up online. So I hope that has been of some service to you all today.
Beautiful. I'm going to come and talk to you soon.
Perfect.
I've got a few little things I'd like to talk to you about. Does anybody have any questions at all? Yes.
You say it takes 22 times. Is that in a week, a day, over all 5 platforms, and every platform?
That's just in general for people to start recognizing who you are. So obviously, I mean, if you're showing up once a month, it's going to take a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same as that we talk about, Debbie was talking about cars earlier. It's the same thing when you go to buy a car. All of a sudden, you see it everywhere because you're aware of it. So that's where the showing up consistency is so important. And nobody likes being on camera. You know, I mean, the first time I got on camera, I actually did Melissa Groom's 30-day video challenge. It took me 3 days to do the first video. And even then it was heavily edited because I didn't like this and that had to change. So, you know, we all have these fears, but it's, you have to show up consistently and show up consistently the same way each time. So yeah, once a month isn't going to cut it.
No. How many times a week should one go online like that? I mean, I've been holding back a little bit. I think the only live things I've done is when I've given something for Kelly, you know, I go, oh, well, what do I do? I mean, I do radio easy. I do a radio program once a week now, but that's easy, you know, it's easy. When you go online and you have to make sure your subjects are right, so how often do we have to do that
If you're
to make
doing,
it worthwhile?
it depends on your audience, but if you're doing live video, at least once a week.
Yeah.
And really, if you're not too sure what to talk about, think about what you're constantly being asked.
Yes, yes. I understand what I need to talk about, but just breaking it up and keeping it going, how often do I do that?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you probably need to repeat things too, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah, because some people don't hear you.
And one of the things too is if you're going to spend time doing a video, repurpose it. Take the audio, use that. Take the transcript of the video, use that as your blog. You spend all this time creating content. Do it once, but then use it as many times as you can. Take bits out of it and actually use that for snippets on Facebook and LinkedIn and Pinterest and, you know. And that's the other thing, you know, like I said, you don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where your ideal client is. So if you're very much business to business, you focus on LinkedIn. If your demographic is the younger demographic from about 18 to 35, 40, and you have a product that is very visually based, definitely Instagram.
Do you have a statistic on which way you should hold your phone when you video live? Is it vertical or horizontal? Because I'm a horizontal, but I see.
I think it's probably, from my experience, it's horizontal is better because if you go vertical, you get the black strips on either side.
You turn it sideways, but a lot of people just look at their phone like that because they're used to holding it like that. So, and that, is that
So if you do it horizontally, even if you're using it, like I only ever do a live video once, and that goes onto YouTube, Instagram TV. So even on Instagram TV, it will actually position it so it sits in the middle of the screen.
So
Horizontally, yeah.
I did a live thing with a girl in England who had actually gotten over cancer through my program, and her mother did too. She lived on the Gold Coast, and this girl lives in England, so they both had gotten over 2 different types of cancers. Anyway, so she wanted to do a live thing with me on Instagram, which I did, but I had my phone horizontal like that doing a live feed with her, but she told me I had to turn it sideways. That way, I had to turn it lengthways because I was standing sideways on the feed somehow.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's when you're doing a live on Instagram.
Right, so this is just filming and then you upload it and do it.
So doing a live on Instagram, it's designed specifically for mobile. So having it vertical. But if you're doing a live on Facebook and you're going to repurpose it, then you do it horizontally because even if you upload it into Instagram, Instagram will crop it and make it fit.
thank you for that.
So,
Excellent.
Perfect.
Thank you.
all right, guys.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you.